Wow, that was a lot. I mean, I hope you people are out there who are listening, who are watching, can appreciate what this man is sharing with you, because this is like, knowledge, first-hand primary source of knowledge. This man's telling you about his struggles, what he's been through. And if you're an artist, a lot of us can basically relate. It may not be to the same extremes or circumstances, but we all have our struggles. And so, Omar, continuing with the struggles, what were the highlights of, like, your career? What was it like when you like you say, you got that 250, then that 300, then that 500? What was it like when you sold your first, like, 50,000 books or 100,000 books, or what I mean, the numbers? What was happening? What was that like?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was when I won the NAACP Image Award, because it was totally unexpected. I was out there, man. We talking about, I had a tuxedo on. My wife was out there with me. She's dressed in a nice dress. And I'm out there passing out flyers for my next book. I'm such a hustler, dude. I'm talking about, we got suits on, and I'm meeting famous people, and I'm passing them flyers. So here's my next book coming out. My wife was like, what the hell are you doing? This is an award show. You're supposed to relax and take it in. And so I'm such a hustler, man, that I would move right on. Even when I made it 250, I was like, all right, let's go to work. I made the 300, let's go to work. I was always a workaholic, man. You know what I mean? So now, when I get it back, now I understand and enjoy it, because you don't know if you're going to come like this all the time. You don't know if you're going to have it like that all the time. But I just figured that, I had goals that I had in mind all the time. And so I didn't really appreciate how much success I had when I had it. But when I get it back, I'm going to appreciate it now. These gray hairs will attest to that, boy. I'm definitely going to appreciate it next time. But when I was getting it in the middle of it, I was thinking about that next goal, that next goal, that next goal. I'm just.
I mean, what did you buy? Did you buy a house? Did you buy cars?
Yeah, I bought two houses. I bought a house in Delaware with the first money I made. Then we moved down to Charlotte, and I bought a bigger house in Charlotte with land and property. Of course, the car. I didn't buy a whole bunch of cars. I had a car for the family. I had my little play around car, and then my wife had a car. You down in North Carolina, you gotta have vehicles. Ain't no buses or trains here. You gotta go ahead and have a vehicle. You gotta drive through the traffic and all that. And so, yeah, you bought, and then we traveled a lot. And that was one of the fun part, when my family could go, to Jamaica, and we went to Costa Rica, and we went skiing and up in New Hampshire, and then out in Colorado. We went to Hawaii, them kind of things, family trips. That's what the most fun that we had. Went to Puerto Rico. We went all over the place. We went on 8-day cruises and stuff. And so that's the most fun that I miss. And I want to get back to. When I get my money back again, I want to take my family to Brazil and Africa and Hong Kong and Japan and stuff like that. And so that's the thing I missed that I wasn't able to do in these hard times over the last 7 years.
So you got to travel, you got to buy some things.
Yeah.
Did the people around you change? Did your family members start coming out the woodwork?
I had a great family. I love my family. In fact, my family been helping me when I was struggling. My family helped me out. But I helped my family members. I sent family members to college. I helped family members to get houses. I helped a lot of people get houses. I'm a very generous person. People that have been around me, they know that. If I have it and you need it, I ain't got no problem with it. Now that's not the reason why I lost it. I kept trying to do new businesses, without having partners and just throwing money into it. When I did a magazine, I threw money in it. When I did music thing at first, I just threw money. And so now I understand why people got scared money. You don't want to lose it. You don't know if it's going to come back to you. And so when I get it back again, I'm going to be a lot more cautious about what I'm jumping into without having partners and a backup plan.
What's the business side like? With did you have managers, agents,
No.
lawyers?
No, I had lawyers that do contracts, but they're not with the money. But the money part, that's where if I would have had a manager, maybe I wouldn't have. But I'm such a hard-headed person that that manager stuff probably would. I ignore my manager and do what I want to do anyway.
How did the drastic change in your income affect your lifestyle? Like, did you have to get an accountant? Did you just do your taxes on your own? What did you do? What happened? How did you handle all of that?
I'm still doing my taxes. I taxes back about 3-4 years. You know what I mean? So I owe the government, but it's funny because I owed the government before, and I cut them a check for like $300,000. And when you do that, they know that, okay, he can cut us a big check. And so they slide you a little bit of room and leniency. And that's what they do with a lot of celebrities and stars. If they know you get big checks at one time, they kind of back off you a little bit. And so they know that when I get it again, I can cut them a check for 3/4. Now I'm going to make a deal with them. I don't owe them that much like I did before because I made a lot more money back then. So I don't owe them that much now. But that's what they do. The government, they understand that this dude makes more money than the norm, but he doesn't make it, on a regular. He may make it in a big lump, and then we'll come after him then. So that's why you hear about a lot of celebrities owing a couple million in taxes. And you're like, well, how did they get all the way up to a couple million in taxes? The government's like, look, when you make that money, we're going to come after you. Now, if you continue to make money and you don't give them some, then they're going to come after you sooner. Or if you try to do some type of tax cheats and whatnot, they're going to come after you. But yeah, man, it's one of those things where, you got to hold off until you can get what you need to pay off the debts that you have. But the lifestyle changes. I'm riding a car right now. This joke about to break down, you know what I mean? But I can't get a new one, so I got to ride it till the wheels fall off. Now, that wouldn't have happened. I would have got a new car. I'd have got, so we're able to keep our cars updated and keep them running well. Now, when you don't have the capital to do it, you can't do that anymore. You know what I mean?
So how do you go from being a millionaire to someone riding around in a car that the wheels are about to fall off? How does that happen?
It's real life, man. You people got to understand, like, right now I got these gray hairs, and I talked about 24 years. Well, let's say you make money for the first 12. And then the second 12, you're not making the same amount of money. Now you got to stretch 12 years. Now I got a son that's in college, and I'm talking about like every month we got to pay like $3,000 for him to go. You know what I mean? So things become more important. So now I'm looking at the car and saying, is it more important to have a new car or to send my first son to college? I mean, that's not even an argument. I'm sending my first son to college. And so I go ahead and swallow the humble piece of pie, and I've got a jalopy car now. I got to deal with that. Now some people, they got the egos involved, so they're like, man, you don't want to be riding around a car like that. You Omar Tyree. I'm like, look, I'm a real person. I'm human. I want my son to be in college where he's supposed to be, in a good school, taking care of business. So if I got to ride around and feel embarrassed, that's what I got to do. But I'm not really embarrassed.
But you got a lot of people who would say, like, when they get, like people right now who are trying to come up, like, trying to get to that point where they could they've never seen a check for $300,000, much less the right one. You said you just wrote one to the IRS.
Well, I needed to because they was coming after me. You know what I mean? So I had it like that to do that.
So to write a check to the IRS for $300,000 and to have all the things that you had, right? Yeah. Like, how do you go from that level of achievement to where now you're in the state of struggle?
Again, it's years. It don't happen overnight.
So
it ain't like it happened in 1 year.
Did you buy too much stuff? Did your books just stop selling?
Yeah.
What happened?
All of it. In fact, I had a condo at one time. At one point, man, I was spending $22,000 a month. $22,000 a month, and that was a time where I was trying to force myself into Hollywood. We did a film called The Lure of Young Women, and I thought that was going to go ahead and bubble in and create some more room, and it didn't do that. You know what I mean? So I'm like, God, that going. So I had to cut that condo loose, man. And then, 22,000. I went back all the way down like to 6,000. But then you get to the point where you got certain assets and homes and mortgages and rent and, you know what I mean, for the car and car. So you can't get it down to 2,000. It's going to be 4,000 a month because you living on that. And so now I got to live on 4,000 a month, and I got to take money here and take money from over here and take money from over here. Then you talking about years. I said 6 to 7 years. Now, unless you got a big nest egg or some new money coming in, 6 to 7 years is a hard, a long period of time to keep the same amount of money if you're not making a new money like you used to make. So I knock on wood, I'm still, surviving with the assets that I still have. I still got the same house. I can't paint it and fix things like I want to be able to fix it, but that's going to come. So I'm not really concerned about that. As long as I'm alive, I'm going to get it and I'm going to make it happen. You got to have that confidence, to keep striving and surviving as an entrepreneur. All of us have to have that. So it's going to come back,
Okay. Well, we're going to keep the conversation going with Mr. Omar Tyree. Again, you're watching Mind TV, and this is the Hut 9. Just stick with us, and, we're coming up on part 4 of this very, 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 very interesting interview with a classic and a legend.